Okay, welcome to the Fishers of Men podcast, where it's just right now the three of us going to talk about our faith. We all come from different backgrounds of our faith, but that's good because we're able to discuss. We're able to get to the hard problems that most Christians don't want to discuss anymore today. So, first off, let's just do an intro of ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Tony Pack. Currently, we live in the state of Georgia, so we're in the Bible Belt, and my family's always been Christian their entire lives, but we never started going to church until eighth grade consistently, and I've never thought about being saved until my seventh grade year, and so that year and everything leading up to that was like super important to me because I knew about God my entire life, like from elementary to middle school. But it was in that middle of middle school where I realized I needed a savior. I needed someone to turn to in time to struggle, and that's where I found God. That's how I found God. So now I'm a junior in high school, going to be a senior next year, and that's basically my story in a nutshell.
All right. I'm Malachi Ledesma. Some people,
Hi.
some people know me as Yordani. Some people know me as Yordi, and some people know me as Malachi. It's a thing. But I would, I grew up in a Christian household. It was mainly my parents' faith, and then near middle school, I was atheist, and then I kind of got back to it in high school. Started studying more. And became Christian again and just, kept getting into it and stuff. um, yeah, I'm a junior here in Georgia, like Tony said. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thing in a nutshell, too.
Uh, yep.
City.
My name is Josh Cobb. Uh, I grew up in Georgia. My dad is actually a pastor, and I've been blessed to, grow up in a Christian household where the Bible's been a part of my life since I was, born. When I was 8, I prayed to receive Christ, and ever since then, I've been living my life for Him. Not perfect, but as best I can. That's
Yeah,
basically that's it.
yeah.
Okay, so here on the channel, we like to go through different beliefs. And since Easter was yesterday, Resurrection Sunday, we're just going to go through that, and that's going to be the main topic for today. And we're just going to discuss our opinions and other people's opinions and show why we believe what we believe. So I think I speak for us when we say this that we believe that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came down from earth, born of Virgin Mary. Lived a sinless life. And because he did not sin, and because he was the Son of God, he was a perfect sacrifice for us. And today, the topic is going to be more about the resurrection. And we believe that he was killed on Friday by the Roman soldiers. And 3 days later, he rose from the dead, and he appeared to multiple different people. And then 40 days later, he ascended to heaven. So, y'all, is that
And yeah, under Pontius Pilate, over 500 witnesses.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I completely agree.
yeah,
There's evidence to support everything you just said.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're gonna go into more of other people's beliefs because we stated what we believe. So now we're gonna go into what most atheists and agnostics their theories.
Yeah. So I use ChatGPT
Shout out GPT.
Shout out to
to help me with my homework. Uh, I asked it to give me the most popular atheist view of the resurrection, and I'm gonna go down the list, and we're gonna talk about them, what's good about them, and what's not good about them. So number one is the swoon theory, which is essentially that Jesus didn't actually die; he just passed out, and then stayed in the tomb 3 days, and then woke up and walked out
Walked
3 days
out?
later. So, would anyone like to start first?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I just want to say, we, this man is tortured, whipped to the point where you
Yeah.
can see the guy's spine.
Mm.
He's bleeding profusely, in Isaiah 53, it says you can't tell if he's man or woman. That's how badly this guy looks. And his beard is torn. He takes up like a 300-pound cross uphill, gets crucified, nails on wrists and feet by the Romans, the greatest, the greatest people of torture at that time. And then after that, after he dies from that, they stab him in the side to make sure he's dead. Then throw him into the tomb, guarded by 2 guards.
Yeah.
With like a 400-pound stone. And so the swoon theory over here is saying he walked out. Like,
he pushed the rock and walked out.
Bro.
Yeah. So it's when they stabbed him in the side, it says water and blood came out, which means he was dead.
Yeah.
That's the only way that would happen. And if he somehow, passed out, and then let's just say like, the water and blood thing, we're just not even gonna count that, I guess.
I guess, yeah, let's just take that out the picture.
He was beaten, bones, like his feet were just, he had nails to his feet.
Yeah.
And then after 36 hours, he just wakes up that morning and, folds his cloths, rolls the stone out of the way.
I forgot he folded it.
I guess just walked right past the guards
At least he's polite.
and like said, "Hey, guards." Walked right out and then walked with 2 dudes 7 miles.
Yeah.
And talked to them.
Talked to them, and
Yeah.
they didn't recognize that he had just been crucified.
I feel like if I saw a guy that had just been crucified like he did. Yeah.
See, and to me, it's like plausible. Okay, so now all that happened. The only way that could all happen, the swoon theory is possible, is that if he was superhuman, right? If he was legit like a superhero.
If he was,
Which is
But hey, with the shirt. But my bad. Okay, so and say he's a superhero. Is it more plausible to believe that he's a superhero or if he's a son of God?
we can't.
And that's why the swoon theory is just it exposes itself for the nature of like how unrealistic. Even if you don't want to believe the resurrection is possible or happen, the swoon theory is one of the worst. Theories.
Yeah, you don't have to believe the resurrection, and that's completely on you. But you have to acknowledge the guy was crucified.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on to the next one, we have the stolen body theory. So essentially, the disciples, most likely disciples, but also it could be other believers, stole the body and say that he was resurrected. Tony, you have anything on this one?
Well, like most Christians point out, is that all out of his 12 disciples, 11 of them, all including or excluding John, because John wrote Revelations for us, they all died, and they didn't just die like they were executed. They were
tortured. Yeah.
And all except for John. And it's the fact that if they knew what they were doing was fake, and they knew everything that happened wasn't real, then why would they be tortured for something that they knew wasn't
Willing to die for something that's alive. I just don't see it plausible that Jesus is dead. He's in the tomb, guarded by Roman guards. Okay. The disciples walk over to that tomb, decide to jump the guards or something.
Yeah.
Which they probably have spears. They probably can call other guards and other Romans. Decide to jump the guards, somehow move the stone, take the body,
Yeah.
and hide it somewhere nobody's found it for 2,000 years.
And fold the cloths.
And then fold it. And then they decide to fold it because you gotta be polite. You gotta be polite.
Never seen a bank robber like close the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold the door for an old lady walking into the bank.
Set the pins back up. Like, bank robbers don't do that. So.
Leave a sticky note that says "Sorry for your inconvenience."
Yeah. And so this one makes a little bit more sense in the swoon theory. It's a little bit more plausible, but again, if you line it up and look at the historical evidence and what actually happened, you see that this is again just not the most.
And you'd have to not account for the fact that 500 other people also claimed to see him
Yeah.
around the same time.
And
Yeah. Next up is the the wrong tomb theory.
I'm sorry, this one's like the worst one.
It says followers went to the wrong tomb.
I
like I don't know how to
So-
respond to this one. Like this, like
it's so stupid.
Well, Joseph, the guy whose tomb it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He would know which tomb is his.
I feel like he'd know what he read.
yeah, it's like going to the wrong house. It's like
They did not realize.
yeah, not
You
really.
bought a house and then you forgot which one was yours.
3 days. 3 days. 3 days.
After 3 days, you don't know which one's yours.
Listen, this
I mean, like, and people saw where he was buried too. It's not like if it was the wrong tomb, people would have pointed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might have found one worse than the slope theory because this one is just like
I think
No,
they're
this
just gonna
one's
get worse.
so
it's,
dumb to
it's,
me.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to respond.
How do you?
This is that's
I
crazy.
just feel like it's so stupid.
Listen.
All right, next one. Oh yeah, this goes to what Malachi said about the 500 people.
Mhm.
Is the hallucination theory. So
I've heard that one.
everyone, the 500 people, the 11 disciples, the women that saw him, they were all just hallucinating the whole time.
So
I think a mass hallucination to convince 500 plus people
Yeah.
that a dead man was walking is, it's a miracle. in
Yeah, it's
itself.
almost an
that's
Yeah.
it. That's a miracle in and of itself. Yeah.
The odds of that happening are, if it was one person,
Or
it
even
could've
just
been
the
a-
disciples.
If it was just the disciples, yeah.
Yeah, but like it could have been like other fake news of hallucination, right? But
Yeah.
like 500 people, like if it was just one person, it'd be the same as like Muhammad.
Yeah, honestly.
Like
Yeah, Muhammad's the only person that was in that cave, bro.
yeah, okay, but that's
He's talking about Muslims.
different time.
Yeah.
Yeah, different next episode.
Same with Joseph Smith, but it's we'll talk about.
Let's talk about those. Yeah.
But with that theory, some people point out that 500 eyewitnesses, and it was in Corinthians, Paul cited it, and it's like some people say that like we're using the own Bible to say that there's 500 eyewitnesses, but to that claim, Paul wouldn't just make an empty claim that there were 500 eyewitnesses and just lie like that, because during this time, people were going to look, people were going to research, people were going to see. And we see even like the Gospel of Luke, it's made through like the eyewitnesses that like saw Jesus and stuff.
Same thing with Acts.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke was there in the book
Luke
of
was
Acts, but yeah.
So again, this is this you almost have to have as much faith in this than you do in the resurrection.
Either everyone was on drugs hallucinating this.
Yeah.
Or everyone saw him. I
Yeah,
feel
or
like.
everyone saw him, yeah.
Okay, we got a couple more. This one says the spiritual resurrection theory that Jesus rose spiritually, not physically.
Isn't that everyone? Isn't that
I mean,
every believer?
Well, the whole if he rose spiritually, not physically, then I mean, where's his body?
Yeah.
He should still be.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, his body should still
That's
be.
just that is.
Okay, never mind. Absolutely idiotic. They were not thinking about that.
I mean, like if he just rose, if his physical body's still there,
Yeah.
like
So what's the fuss
Yeah.
about?
Okay.
And that's my thing is like if you're going to say he rose physically as well. Like
yeah.
it's just
That's what it would mean. Yeah.
Next one is the legend development theory. It says the resurrection story grew over time as a legend and not an immediate claim.
Oh my gosh. The first gospels were written like what 60 AD or something
Yeah, like people that were eyewitnesses
in their lifetime.
wrote these gospels.
It's not a legend. It was people there that lived through it were there and they wrote it and saw what they wrote.
Yeah.
It's not something passed down through generations. It was there from the beginning.
They
Yeah.
wrote it down. Eyewitnesses wrote it down, so it's not like it grew and grew and grew.
Yeah, Matthew was one of the disciples. He wrote it.
Yeah.
I don't even know, bro. The Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Mark got his from Peter. We know Luke asked around from other eyewitnesses. Just that's dumb. That's
All right. Number 8. Wait, 7. Sorry, can't count. The imposter theory. Okay, so this is saying someone that looked like Jesus or his twin brother or something pretended to be Jesus. Here's what I would say. First of all, if someone pretended to be Jesus after he died, they would still same thing. Where's the body? You should still
Yeah.
give it to him.
Yeah.
But also, like, these series are.
If he had a, I can't with these theories.
Yeah.
If he had a twin brother, people would know that he had a
Yeah.
twin brother.
Yeah.
And so if people are now saying he rose, other people would ask, what happened to his twin brother? It doesn't make any sense. Or if there's someone that looked like him, obviously, yeah, you would need to know where the body is. Like, where'd the body go?
I think there's a little bit more thought put into this theory than like some of the other ones. Because it tries to give like an example of how plausible, like to try to make it plausible. But again, it's people would know, people would point that out, people would say, and again, the tomb was still found empty. So
Whatever
whatever
stone was rolled and
Yeah.
two was in.
So whatever theory you have to account for the fact that a dead man was out of the tomb in 3 days with a stone rolled, with the cloth folded, and people saw him in the following days. And there's not many that can go.
Say the name of this theory. ChatGPT might be cooking.
The next theory is called conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I think I've heard that one before.
Was this a coordinated effort by disciples to fabricate the resurrection story? Critics question whether many people would maintain such a lie under persecution.
Wait, what? Repeat that? I'm confused about
Okay, conspiracy theory. A coordinated effort by disciples to fabricate the resurrection story.
it.
And it says critics question whether many people would maintain such a lie under persecution.
Is that not just a soul and body?
Yeah, well, it's more of like
I guess.
it's basically the soul and body, but like they put a lot more thought into it. And again, it's like what we already said about they were persecuted. That's what ChatGPT said. Like, how could they do that under persecution? I think the fact that it spread so rapidly, not just from the disciples, but from a lot of other people in the Roman Empire when Christians were being persecuted at that time, says a lot of things about how true the religion was.
Yeah.
Because it spread so rapidly and so fast while being persecuted. And that can only happen if someone sees a true risen Savior that they call Christ. You know?
Yeah, that's good. The last theory is called the mythicist theory. Mythicist. I can't talk. Is that Jesus may not have actually ever existed.
So that's just a lie.
So even atheist scholars claim
Historic scholars, yes.
yeah, they claim that Jesus was a real person. So we'll just
Not only that, but historic scholars will also claim. There's a quote. The quote's right here when I find it, but the gist of the quote is that it's from a non-Christian scholar, but he said one of the only things we truly know is that Jesus Christ was crucified. It's just that it's that what's the word, bro?
widely known, widely accepted.
Yeah, it's just that strong of evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that theory shifts.
So basically, we believe that Jesus Christ truly existed, truly died, and truly rose 3 days later.
That's it. And we see how these other beliefs they don't seem like when you see the evidence and you see all these things, no one has a good concrete theory that maybe even if you don't believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, these theories aren't as good as that explanation. It takes faith to believe in any of these theories. But if it takes faith to believe in any of them, why not believe in the one where Jesus Christ is Lord?
That's bars.
It's good.
Okay, so again, we like to discuss people's beliefs because we believe that if we stop discussing, even with other Christians, even with Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses and Muslims and Hindus and even political, it's if we stop discussing, then we start using violence to express ourselves. And I think we should never get to that point as Christians and just even as basic humans. I think that should be a basic human like privilege. So we're gonna react to a few reels of other beliefs and show our opinions and discuss what we personally believe that's different from the reel we see.
All right.
Do we have any?
Yeah, I have this one here. All right, let's watch this.
this. Good job.
All right.
Okay, sweet. Okay.
You want to start, Josh?
Yeah, so I actually want to cover the second half first of that second half of that reel first. It says that the world was created for humans, which I would say that the world was created to glorify God.
Yeah.
Like that's the point of the creation. God didn't create us because he needed us. He created us because he loved us. And the Westminster Catechism, written in the 17th century,
Ball knowledge.
1647.
Only real ones now.
Anyway, it said the chief end of man, which is the purpose of man, is to glorify God and enjoy him forever.
Yeah.
And so I think the earth, like the world, is for man to live in and is a tool to help us glorify God and enjoy him forever and enjoy his creation forever.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll go for the first half of it. It being 13 billion years old. Personally, I'm new Earth creationist. I believe God created the universe in 6 literal days. Um, I believe that God created everything with age, the plants with age, and the birds and the creatures. All of this has age, and He created humans with age. Adam and Eve weren't babies when they were created; they were grown adults. So I do believe that if He can create everything there with age and did,
Yeah.
there's no reason to why not He wouldn't create the Earth with age or the universe with age. There's no reason for that to not happen.
Yeah. Again, I'm personally more of an older Earth, I think. Not because I don't think God can create the universe in like 6 little days. I think He can. I think that's possible because I think He has the power to. But I think personally that uh, I think the days are more of periods because I think that when He created it, He used almost that like a sandbox in a way, and
Like,
yeah, like Minecraft. And he had these animals, and then through those periods, they experienced microevolution. And I believe that all animals, it's like Noah's Ark. Matter of fact, you brought up a good point a while ago off camera. That the Noah's Ark was only for a few dogs. Or no, it was you, Josh. Sorry. Uh, only for a few dogs, but from those like few dogs, we have thousands of different breeds. And I think that's personally like what creation and stuff was that gave time for all of that. So, but I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things. I think it's more of a third degree problem. But I think Josh tackled it like the first or the second part of it. It was made for humans, and it's because it wants people that are Christians. They think they're self-centered, and I think part of being a Christian is knowing that we're not self centered, that we're not the main character of the story, that God's the main character, but we're called to love others through that. And I think that's like the main message of the Bible. It's obviously repent and believe in Jesus Christ, but the second commandment Jesus gave us when he was here, it was to love our neighbors as ourselves. So this idea of selfishness, which this reel is trying to push, I don't think it's true in efficiently.
I actually have a question about what you believe with older. I'm sorry, it just came to me.
Fine.
Would that not mean if microevolution were happening, would that not mean that there would be death in the world already?
Death in the world. Just new life, right? Just new adaptation. Because also the thing about microevolution and stuff, if God created a perfect world and stuff, it'd be hard for microevolution because there'd be no need for change, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like, yeah, it's perfect.
I
So
lived in the garden.
yeah, they live in the garden, and that's what microevolution's for. It's like people in Africa just like grew darker complexions and darker melanin because it helped them in the sun. People in northern states were in snow all the time, so they needed as much sun as they could get. And these little changes cause us to be different as humans, as animals, as plants.
Yeah.
In the Arctic, white rabbits are most prevalent because they blend in, and it's because of the death, like you said. So that's like one like thing that refutes it is that if there wouldn't be any microevolution to start out with, because everything would be perfect and there would be no need for change.
Mhm.
Do we have the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God created Satan and allows him to live while destroying billions of human lives, then God isn't an adversary to Satan. He's an accomplice. God created.
Okay. So, do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, you can go to.
So I don't like people that assume that God is evil or not all good because he allows evil in the world. But again, that's, I think, one question that Christians often have is, if God is all good and all powerful, why doesn't he just snap his fingers and make Satan disappear? And I think it's because of the free will we get, right? And at creation. Because here is the final thing. When you look at all the facts, when you look at the Bible, when you look at morality itself, God had two options: to either create us as a robot where he controls everything we are. He controls our bodies, he controls our thoughts, he controls our feelings, he controls our actions, and he could do that to make us perfect. Or he could give us free will, he could give us a soul, he could give us a conscience, and we could make decisions for ourselves. And ever since, so first off, we know that Satan was cast out of heaven because he was trying to overthrow God. And from there, he came to earth like as a fallen angel. And the Bible says that he's going to go to hell for eternity. And we see that God God puts us through trials, right? Because without trials, we don't know who we are. If you're never faced with anything, then you're always going to have to be good because there's no other option. So it's hard because I don't know how a mind such as God's, which is all knowing, all powerful, all perfect, I don't know the thought process behind it, but I can at least trust that it has a reason behind it.
I feel like it comes down to like what is Satan's goal here?
Yeah.
And Satan's goal isn't to torture people in hell for eternity. And,
Yeah.
and Satan's goal isn't for every human being on earth to die. That's not his goal here. His goal is to bring everyone away from God, bring as many people away from God as possible. That's his goal here. And that is not what an accomplice of God would be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say like something. Yeah. Okay. I agree with what y'all said, and it's kind of basically asking, why does God allow
Evil.
evil? It's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like you said, man has free will, and man chose to sin in the garden.
Yeah.
And that was man's choice. And so we experience trials. The Bible tells us to count it all joy, my brothers, when you face trials of various kinds. And so some of them are used to test us. Some of them are used to help us grow in our faith. Sometimes they're terrible. Like things happen, and they're sad. Like you should mourn. You shouldn't like celebrate something terrible happening in your life.
Yeah.
But you should know that it's for a greater purpose. We can only see one piece of the puzzle. God sees the whole picture.
Yeah.
It's that level of faith you have to see all this bad, but know that on the other side, it's going to be pretty good.
Live in.
Well, that was our first episode of Fishers of Men. We hope you guys enjoyed. Whether you're atheist, whether you're Christian, we hope that you at least see our view and you see that we're doing this show, not doing it for the glory of ourselves. We're doing it for the glory of God so people can see our opinions, but also to discuss, right? To discuss with atheists, to discuss with people of different beliefs. Because like we said previously, without that discussion, we tend to resort to violence. And when we resort to violence, things get tricky. Things get out of hand very fast. So we hope this show is used as a platform of discussion so that we can use our voices rather than violence.
If you have any questions, please ask.
I mean, like, yeah,
Love to
comment,
answer
reach out to us if you want to speak to us at all. Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is if you comment any question we have about Christianity on this real and genuine faith, we'll try to answer them and we'll try to get to as many as we can if we have the time.
Yeah.
That's all we have for today. Remember, Jesus loves you. Remember, God is real. We love you guys. See you guys next time.
We're so tough. We're so tough.